Hello everyone, let's move on to Oleksandr Usyk and his potential fight with Rico Verhoeven. Yes, Rico has only one professional boxing match, but he's not a random figure in this story. Verhoeven previously sparred with Tyson Fury and is now training under Peter Fury. Rico himself said that the sparring session with Tyson was tough. Fury closed both of his eyes, but instead of being intimidated, Verhoeven thought, "This is an incredibly valuable experience. You can learn a lot from an opponent like that." Meanwhile, British analyst Ade Oladipo commented on Oleksandr Usyk's statement that he doesn't want to break Moses Itama because he's still young. According to Oladipo, Usyk would indeed beat Itama right now, and there is logic in what Oleksandr is saying. However, he believes that such a fight in the future is not impossible. In his opinion, everything depends on how quickly Itama progresses through the next levels. If he convincingly defeats Jermaine Franklin, his team could rapidly accelerate his path. Oladipo points out that once a young boxer enters the top 10, he steps into very dangerous waters, filled with experienced, tough, big fighters, Olympians, and former champions. But these are exactly the kinds of fights that create hype. He adds that if Itama beats a top name and does it in an impressive fashion, like Fabio Wardley or Daniel Dubois did, fans themselves will start demanding a fight with Usyk. In that case, Oleksandr might change his stance. Right now, Moses is probably still far from that level, and Usyk is likely right. But that gap can close very quickly. However, this isn't the only unexpected storyline around Usyk. Sergey Lapin, head of his team, stated that a fight with Jake Paul under MMA rules is not currently being considered. However, the team is open to other interesting collaborations. As a truly high-profile option, Lapin mentioned Jon Jones. Yes, this refers to a potential fight in the United States, the best heavyweight in MMA versus one of the best boxers of his generation. And it certainly sounds like a massive spectacle. Recall that Usyk recently said he wants to have 3 more boxing fights. Among the possible opponents mentioned were Verhoeven, the winner of Wardley vs Dubois, and even a potential third fight with Tyson Fury as a farewell bout. Now Jon Jones has entered the conversation as well. In short, Usyk currently has so many options that choosing just one is difficult, even for the fans. Now shifting briefly to promoters. Dana White and Eddie Hearn used to have a decent relationship, but after the launch of Zuffa Boxing, they began taking constant shots at each other. At some point, it all started to resemble an actual scuffle, especially with talk that they might even be willing to fight each other. Then Oscar de la Hoya jumped in with a striking comment. He said he could knock Hearn out with one punch, but still believes that in a real fight, Eddie would beat Dana White. That's the level of analysis we're getting from promoters. And Oscar didn't stop there. He supported Ronda Rousey, who is returning and will appear in Jake Paul's MVP show. After her criticism of Dana White, de la Hoya said she is 100% right. In his view, if a huge company primarily makes money for the bosses rather than the fighters, then something is wrong. Moreover, Oscar believes that UFC fighters are starting to realize they deserve more, while the company doesn't want any individual fighter to become bigger than the UFC brand itself. Harsh and loud, but for de la Hoya, that's nothing new. Let's move on to Ryan Garcia. He said that the number of real options for his next fight has sharply decreased. There were talks about a fight with Shakur Stevenson, rematches with Devin Haney and Rolando Romero, as well as a mega fight with Conor Benn. But now, according to Ryan, all of that is no longer relevant. Benn will fight on the Tyson Fury vs Arslanbek Makhmudov card. Haney and Romero are preparing for a unification bout, while Stevenson is still exploring his options. So, as Garcia puts it, he's left with just one option, Teofimo Lopez. The only question is whether Teo will agree to move up to welterweight, and Ryan is emphasizing exactly that point. Lopez himself has said he's done with the super lightweight division, which means moving up is possible. And if this fight actually happens, it would be a huge event. Next, British analyst Gary Davis reported that a fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua has supposedly already been agreed. However, Eddie Hearn completely denies this. He stated directly that it's not true, nothing has been signed and there are no agreements. At the same time, Hearn admitted that discussions did take place and were quite serious. Even before the accident, there was a plan where Joshua would first fight Jake Paul, then compete in Saudi Arabia, and only after that face Tyson Fury. But after the accident, everything stalled, and only in recent days has the topic started to resurface. So for now, it's not a finalized plan, but rather a revived idea. Still, the topic itself isn't going anywhere. As for Eddie Hearn, he has a very busy schedule for May and June. Matchroom has already mapped out the spring, and Hearn said that Ben Whittaker, Jaron Ennis, and Jesse Rodriguez are all expected to return to the ring in the coming months. Whittaker will fight on April 25th in the US, but it seems they are not rushing his push on major cards, despite fan frustration over repeated mismatches. On May 2nd in Wolverhampton, Hearn is matching Connor Walker against Sam Eggington. There's also another British event planned for the end of the month. Around the same time, Ennis is expected to return in the US, and earlier it was already mentioned that they want to set him up for a fight for 2 titles right away. Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez is scheduled to come back in June, and it looks like he's being lined up for a title fight in a new weight class. Now briefly about Terence Crawford. He named his top 3 fights in boxing history. He put Hearns vs Hagler in first place, Corrales vs Castillo in second, and the Barrera vs Morales trilogy in third. A very respectable selection, it must be said. And as a reminder, after his victory over Saul Canelo Alvarez, Crawford announced his retirement. Final record, 42 wins and no losses. A beautiful way to go out. An official WBA eliminator has been announced. On April 25th, Jarrell Miller will face Cuban fighter Lenier Pero. So this is no longer just another fight, but a clash for a serious position in the rankings. Miller was already in action in January, where he won a decision over Kingsley Ibe. For the 37-year-old Jarrell, it was his first victory after a difficult stretch. Before that, he had a draw with Andy Ruiz Jr. and a stoppage loss to Daniel Dubois. There was also that widely discussed incident where Ibe allegedly scalped Miller, with Jarrell later explaining what happened to his hair. As usual, there's always some noise around Miller, even with things like that. Pero, meanwhile, remains undefeated. His most notable win came in 2023, when he stopped an injured Victor Vykrist, and since then he has steadily picked up wins on points. His last fight was against Jordan Thompson, and he also won that one by decision.